In section 2.1, we will talk about functions. The goals of this lesson are to determine if a set of points represents a function and to determine if a graph represents a function. So the first thing we look at is how to determine if a relation is a function. And we start out with some definitions here. So a relation is a correspondence between two sets, including a domain and a range, such that each element of the domain has one or more elements in the range. And a function is a correspondence between two sets, so it starts out the same way. But then this one is a little different because it says such that each element of the domain is assigned to exactly one element in the range. Now, to summarize that, what we want to remember here is that a relation is not a function if the x values repeat. In other words, the domain cannot be associated with more than one range value. So when we take a look at these examples, each of these would be considered a relation, and now we have to decide if they also represent functions. And an easy way to check it when it's written like this is just to look at each of the x values. As long as our x value is not repeating, it is going to be a function. So number 1 would be yes. For number 2, if I look at my domain values, again, those are the x values, 4, -7, 2, -7. We did have a repeat there, so this one is not going to represent a function. For number 3, again, I've got 0, 3, 5, and 0. Again, the 0 repeats, so no, that one is not a function. Another way that we look at determining if a relation is a function is by using the vertical line test. And this is a method that is used to determine whether a given relation is a function. If a vertical line intersects the graph in more than one position, the relation is not a function. So an example would be here. If this was my original graph that I was provided with and I want to test the vertical line test, I would need to be able to draw a vertical line anywhere throughout the graph, and if it only passes our graph one time, then it's a function. If it passes more than one time, it is not a function. So with this one, when I draw that vertical line in, and again, that could have been anywhere in the graph, once I see that it intersects my graph in two different places, I see that this is not a function because it fails the vertical line test. So we'll try 2 more examples of this. So in number 1, again, I'm testing this graphically. I would look to see if I could draw a vertical line, and if there's anywhere where it would cross my graph 2 times, it's not a function. In this case, there is nowhere that I could put that vertical line where it would actually cross more than once, so this one is a function. For number 2, again, I could go ahead and draw some vertical lines over here, and even right here I could draw a vertical line and it would only cross once, but as long as you can find a place where it would cross more than once, if it crosses in 2 or more positions, then that is automatically not a function. So we'll try 2 more examples. Number 3, again, when I try to find a position where it might cross the graph more than one time, I can't find that. Everywhere that I would possibly put this vertical line, it would only cross my graph one time, so this one is a function. And then for number 4, there are several locations that I could put a vertical line that would pass through the graph twice, and therefore this one is not a function. So your homework for section 2.1 would include 2 different Delta Math assignments that are loaded into the system.